Bonjour à vous tous et bienvenue à ce 51e épisode de Danganronpa Trigger et Havoc. Mon nom est Lekels et j'espère que de votre côté, vous allez bien. Alors, comme vous avez vu au cours des deux derniers épisodes, on a commencé le procès de Mukuro Ikusaba, donc de son meurtre, et on essaie de mettre en ordre tout ce qui s'est passé et qui l'a éliminé. Donc, au courant du dernier épisode, on a révélé certaines choses qui sont assez intéressantes. Tout d'abord, tout ça n'est qu'une farce, c'est un déguisement d'un corps. Donc, en fait, on s'est rendu compte que le couteau n'est pas l'âme du crime, donc il a été placé là après la mise en scène de tout ça. On a vu aussi que le fameux côte a été mis après le tout aussi, donc le couteau est planté dans le fameux manteau, mais tout cela n'est que rajouté par-dessus le tout. Le corps a été protégé par un genre de bâche, donc un genre de tissu, afin d'éviter qu'il soit mouillé. Et en plus, le sang qui a été rajouté par-dessus n'est nul autre que du sang de poulet. Tout ça pour en venir à la question, c'était quoi l'arme du crime? Donc on a pu en déterminer que c'était les 10 flèches de titane, pas une, 10 qui étaient tapées ensemble et qui ont été un coup, qui ont assommé en fait la personne d'un coup à la tête. Sur ce, je vous souhaite un bon visionnement.
Oh, um...
What's the matter? Surely you don't intend to protect a murderer. You know what will happen if you do, don't you? If you cover for the culprit, there's only one thing that can lead to the death of us all, remember?
Of course I remember.
Then show us. Show everyone the evidence that proves Kyoko went to the dojo.
I have evidence. Evidence that Kyoko went to the dojo. To the dojo. You.
I got it! The one thing that proves Kyoko was in the dojo is... right here. The key to the dojo locker.
C'est quand qu'on va pouvoir tout
And
remettre
how
en
does
ça.
that prove anything?
Because I found it in your room.
It was in my room?
Elle avait même pas accès à sa
Don't bother
pièce.
trying to play dumb. That key is just the final piece of the puzzle.
Nope.
Your
d'accord.
non-existent alibi, your clear motive, your attempts to frame Makoto for the crime. This all proves that you are the true culprit. You can't explain this away, so just give up.
Hold on a second.
Not this again. You really are dead set on defending her, aren't you?
No, it's not that I want to defend her. It's just... there's one more thing I need to ask her. Kyoko, I want you to tell me something. Last night, you were in my room, weren't you? Why? What were you doing there? That's what I need to know.
Intéressant.
I was just protecting you.
What?
She was protecting me? Then does that mean elle s'est battue contre l'autre dude? She knew I was being attacked. Regardez comment elle porte sa fameuse veste. Elle était carrément à l'envers dans le jardin. And she came to my rescue. Could that be when? Which would mean that Kyoko, she killed someone for me?
That's enough. The time for idle chatter is over. A verdict is close at hand.
Je suis pas d'accord, bien que.
I'm warning you. Don't make this mistake. I'm not the killer.
Je suis sûr qu'elle dit la
I knew you were
vérité.
stubborn, but this is just getting ridiculous.
Really? But you should know better than anyone I didn't do it. Can you tell me I'm wrong?
I should know.
What? C'est clairement à cause de la clé. What does it matter? Bon, on n'a pas l'information. On a le billet curieux à Icon.
Those words you just spoke. What do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Effectivement, parce que.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me.
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo locker, and then left the locker key in my own room, correct? But could I really have done that?
Those words you just spoke. What do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit.
Objection!
No, that's wrong.
T'as la clé pour rentrer dans sa chambre, elle ne peut pas y aller.
If I'm right, Kyoko wouldn't have been able to get into her room.
Huh? Why not?
Because she had given her room key to Byakuya.
I see. So that's what you meant. And if I had the key to your room...
Then obviously I had no way of getting in.
Mais elle a un secret tool pour rentrer partout.
Without my room key, I couldn't have possibly put the locker key in there myself. Am I wrong?
It would appear not.
Then you're finally starting to understand.
No, that's not actually true. There was a clear contradiction in what Kyoko just told us, an obvious lie. But this just isn't like her. To try and save herself with such a desperate lie? Does she really feel that threatened? Because she's the killer? Or is it something else? Was there some deeper meaning hidden in what Kyoko said earlier? If you vote for me and I die here, the mystery of this call will stay hidden forever. Which is why I can't let that happen. This is a trap the mastermind has laid for us. The mastermind's trap. The mastermind is trying to trap Kyoko. But what if that's not really true? What can I do? What should I do? What should I... The mastermind's trap. The victim was Mukuro, and Kyoko killed her. What does Kyoko really know? What am I supposed to do? Kyoko's lie? I'm the only one who knows it's a lie. I'm the only one who can expose it. But who can I trust? What am I supposed to do? The mastermind's trap? If you spend all your time trying to avoid danger, you'll never move forward. We know the danger, but if that risk means solving the mystery, we have no choice. Am I wrong? Let's go. What do I do? I have to decide right here and now whether or not expose Kyoko's lie. Ah! On fait quoi? J'ai l'impression que si on fait Let It Go... Oh non, on chante pas la chanson de Frozen ici. On risque de découvrir les secrets vraiment, mais tout va se tourner vers Kyoko. Mais de l'autre côté, non, tout va virer de l'autre bord. Mais si on poursuit le live... Si on poursuit le live, on met toute la faute sur Kyoko. J'ai quand même l'impression que c'est pas elle qui l'a tué pareil. Runaway, pas Runaway. I've made my decision. I have to believe in Kyoko. Let's go, guys. There's no way she would kill someone. There has to be some secret here. Something that has to do with the mastermind trap that Kyoko mentioned.
Well, does no one have a rebuttal? Have you decided to accept her assertion as fact? I see. So you still refuse to accept it. I suppose we have to admit that Kyoko didn't put the locker key in her room, that it was someone else.
Ça me dit-tu à des fins différentes du jeu, ça? Ça se peut-tu? Ou c'est encore un faux choix, comme qu'ils nous ont fait quand on a parlé à Kyoko dans la salle de musique, ça se peut en maudit, ça. Ça se peut, je rêve tellement plus sur cette option-là, genre, alors je peux pas y faire ça. Je peux pas exposer son mensonge, on va prendre d'autres options. Je peux pas m'enfuir, je peux pas run away, on va prendre d'autres options.
But who else could it have been?
On le saura jamais.
I mean, Byakuya had a room key, right?
Non, ça va revirer contre Byakuya.
You! What are you
But of course, I have an alibi. From nighttime on, I was with you guys the entire time.
So,
I couldn't possibly have killed anyone, or put the key in Kyoko's room.
Well, someone had to put the key in there.
There's only one other possibility I can think of.
the mastermind.
Someone could have had the key on them, then once they arrived at the scene, pretended to find it there.
Bon, ça servait contre moi, là.
What?
It had to be Makoto, right?
I don't see any other option.
Wait a second.
Ah, on n'est pas chanceux. On est vraiment pas chanceux, là.
Let's think about it one more time. There's gotta be a hidden side to this case.
Huh? A hidden side?
Bon, ben, t'avais le savoir, finalement.
First of all, there's something off about this entire trial. You all see it, don't you? Mukuro, who we didn't even know existed, suddenly shows up dead, and then we're thrown into a trial. And Kyoko even said, it's a trap the mastermind set for us. So that's why this has to be...
Okay, time's up.
Non! Il a fait exprès.
Class trials all over. Everyone can stop talking now.
Ah!
What? Time's up?
Ben oui!
What do you mean time's up? There's no time's up. Since when have we...
It's because you were late, so we had to push back the start time. So then, it's time for voting time, okay? Everyone, please vote using the lever in
Je
front
me
of
fais
you.
tellement tuer, pour
Voting
vrai.
time?
Si, c'est ça. Ah ouais, les C sont mérités, là. Les C sont vraiment mérités. Oh, man.
Now, who will be chosen as the blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one?
S'il vote pour moi, c'est sûr.
Hold on!
What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
C'est sûr qu'il vote pour moi. Il n'y a rien d'autre que ça de possible. C'est sûr que je me fais tuer là. What? You think I'm the killer? Okay, but what? Sorry, man.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. It's all your fault. Everyone, you're wrong. You got it all wrong. I didn't do it.
Yes, indeed.
Good job, everyone. Good job.
Yep.
Yeah, they got it right. No, I know that's not true. None of this make any sense. This whole trial doesn't make any sense.
Hey.
It makes perfect sense.
Shing.
It's the same as always. It's just like all the other class trials, and I'm gonna end it the same way.
Thrills, chills, kills.
It's time for your heart-pounding, positively thrilling punishment. Wait, why do I? Kyoko?
I don't expect you to forgive me. I know this is all my fault.
Kyoko?
Let's give it everything we've got. It's punishment time.
Ben oui. Ben oui. Non, juste non. Ça marchera pas. Je peux pas me faire tuer. The end, ouais. C'est sûr que ça marchera pas. Oh mon dieu, c'est bien atroce. Il me recule petit à petit. Oh, wow. Quelqu'un briser les machines, s'il vous plaît. After school lesson. Puis le Ultimate Lucky, il y a quelque chose qui va se passer pour que tout brise. Ça se peut pas que ça se finisse de même. Ça se peut pas. Ça se peut juste pas. Ah, man, ça doit foutre la chienne quand tu sais que t'es à quelques stomps. Hey! C'est Alter Ego! On va tout faire péter! Let's go! Oh my god. Il avait réussi à rentrer dans le réseau. C'est bien fou, ça. Je suis vivant. Ouais, en tout cas. Jusqu'à date. Avec une... une chute de même, pas sûr que je suis encore vivant. What's this? What's going on? Hey, what's that? Yeah, it had to be Alter Ego. Alter Ego? Is it some stupid virus from that stupid guy? He must have planted it when he invaded my network. Damn it all to hell. I don't believe this.
It would seem...
It seems you finally made a miscalculation. No, you miscalculated from the very beginning.
What the heck?
What was that?
In other words...
What I'm saying is, you shouldn't have underestimated us. Why are you talking like you have already on one? I barely felt a thing. It was a pinch, an inch, an itch. The stupid virus is gone now. Got it? And so is Makoto. Maybe I didn't get to smash it flat, but you're never gonna see him again. To waste away in a garbage strewn. But in a way, that's an even better special punishment. But it's still not enough. I'm still not satisfied. I'm still gonna bring despair to the rest of you. Bring despair to the entire world. Is he gone? Hey, Kyoko, what's the meaning of all this? Just what the hell is going on?
Calm down.
It's okay. We're not the ones that being trapped this time.
In other words...
Now it's the masterminds that's ensnared.
What
What are you
say?
talking about?
So...
You'll understand soon enough. Very soon indeed. Oh, intéressant. The massive high school towers over all the other buildings in this bustling urban area. La musique vient de tomber trop joyeuse pour ce qui vient de se passer. It's like the school stands at the center of the entire world. Hope Speak Academy. It brings in top students from every field imaginable, a government-funded school of privilege. Comme ça qu'on au début. They say that if you come here and manage to graduate, you'll be set for life. With hundreds of years of tradition, it sends the cream of the crop into the workforce every year. It was built to raise hope in the nation's future, which makes Hope Speak a pretty fitting name. There are two things you need to attend this school. One, you have to already be attending high school. Two, you have to be the very best at what you do. No ordinary student could enroll here. The only way in is that if you're scouted by the school itself. And standing there at the gate of the ultimate school filled with the ultimate student was me. Oh. What? Where am I? I woke up with my head resting on top of a hard wooden desk. My body felt heavy. I wouldn't be weird for me to zonk off in the middle of some boring class or whatever, but what was I doing asleep here just now? Tu peux pas faire ça, tu peux pas me faire ça, tu peux pas faire ça, tu peux pas me faire ça, le fait de dire que tout ça n'était qu'un rêve. Non, 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 t'as pas le droit, t'as juste pas le droit. It wasn't any classroom I'd ever been in before. What the heck is going on? Ah non, ok, on était vraiment on a vraiment réussi à tomber sur le bureau. Sur le bureau qu'on était... je crois qu'on était attaché après une chaise. Mais le bureau? Finally, I could finally feel my mind and body start to come back together again. And then, I was awake. Or was this just another dream? A dream inside a hopeless nightmare. No, this isn't a dream. I could tell because the stench invading my nostrils was too powerful for a dream. What an awful smell. I was in the vast, dark cavern, whatever, with the barest hint of light steeping in. Trash was piled high all across the area. This must be some kind of underground garbage pit. A heck of a situation to find myself in. But that was just the beginning of my problems. Was I going to be stuck in there till I waste away and die? No, I can't let that happen. Not after what my good friend went through to save me. I remember all too well what had happened. Alter Ego saved me, and he used up the last little bit of his strength to do it. So I can't give up now. For myself and for my friend. And with that, my pursuit of survival began. Je me demande vraiment que ça aurait fait si on aurait exposé Kyoko. Est-ce que c'est elle qui aurait été tuée? First step was to start looking for a way out of here, up there. That's a rocket and a tank. I'd better not think too much about what I'm seeing down here. Ça me fait penser un peu aux roquettes qu'on a vues au début du jeu. C'est la première exécution qu'on a vue. Is that an airplane? What? How'd something like that wind up in the school garbage pit? C'est barré, it's locked. No matter how many times I push or pull or kick at it, it didn't budge. Getting out of here isn't gonna be that easy. Well, if I'm not getting out of here anytime soon, I decided to look around for some food. Oh, there's plenty of food here, but it's all rotten. But that was pointless too. Next, I searched for some water. How can I be sure which liquid I can drink? And which one are not all around bad idea? Again, pointless. I feel like I'm blocking all aside. But that's still not enough reason to give up. Because I'm still alive. As long as I'm alive, I'll never give up. After making that proud declaration, the next thing I decided to do was go to sleep. My sleep was deep and uninterrupted. That was my only way to preserve what little strength I had left after not being able to eat or drink. I can be sure, but I think at least a full day had to have passed. And all I did was sleep and sleep. It was like I was waiting for some kind of sign to come falling out of the sky. However, what fell from the sky wasn't a sign. That exactly. Je suis vraiment lancé la clé. Ouh, il y a quelqu'un qui est tombé sur nous autres. What the? The strange sound pierced my silent isolation, jarring me awake. Qu'est-ce qui est tombé? As I watched the pile of garbage jostle and formed an odd shape. Did something fall down over there? Something fell from up above. What could it have been? Did a giant piece of trash just fall down here? I carefully stretched my hand out toward whatever it was that had tumbled down here with me.
Just a second.
A giant piece of trash? Rude? Kyoko qui... c'est parfait. C'est juste parfait. Before she even emerged from the pile of garbage, I knew who it was.
It smells.
Okay. Cup of ramen sur la tête. They smell awful. Kyoko?
Indeed.
You look like you're doing better than I expected. What are you doing here?
So...
Isn't it obvious? I'm here to help you. I'm glad to hear that, Kyoko. You've got a bit of garbage in your hair. She gave her head a quick, sharp shake to get rid of the trash, then faced me again.
Hey.
First, I have something for you. Go ahead and eat it. We can talk once you're finished. Merci, Kyoko. Thank you. I snatched the bread and water that she was holding out for me. On va prendre une petite gorgée pour elle. Within seconds, it was in my mouth and making its way toward my stomach. Whew! That really is the spot. Now I've got all the energy I need to keep going. So you still haven't given up, then? Of course not. After all, the fact that I can keep going forward is about all I'm good at.
Hmm?
Well, That's not such a bad thing to be good at. Effectivement. That's only technique. But Kyoko, why did you come to rescue me?
So,
To pay a debt? Or, no, to atone? To atone?
you...
During the trial, even though you knew I was lying, you didn't say anything. So you knew that I knew.
Indeed.
But even though I knew, I did nothing to help you. I abandoned you. Don't say that. You didn't abandon me. No, that's exactly what I did. I abandoned you in order to save my own life. You were trying to save me, and I couldn't bring myself to do the same for you.
However...
But listen, not that I'm trying to make excuses, but there was a reason that I had to survive, no matter the cost. Why did you have to survive?
It's true.
I tell you everything. The reason I had to survive
In other words...
is so that I can do what I came to this school to do. What? I made up my mind to come to Go Speak Academy for one very important reason. So you have some reason for coming to Hope Speak?
Indeed.
That's right, at least I did. Once. Until recently, I'd forgotten what it was. You forgot? But that's... I had no memory of what my purpose was. No memory? That's impossible. Amnesia? Then, is it really true you lost your memory?
Makoto.
Do you remember, Makoto? Do you remember the first thing that happened to each of us as soon as we arrived in the school? The first thing? You're talking about when we fainted, right? I fainted, and when I woke up, I was trapped here.
That's right.
I fainted too. And when I woke up, I noticed a strange feeling of separation within myself, a disconnect.
It would seem...
Thinking back on it now, at that point my memory was gone. At that time, I'd forgotten. I couldn't remember why I'd come to this school, and I couldn't remember what my ultimate ability was. But what will make you forget all that?
Hey.
Strange, isn't it? It's hard to imagine it happening by chance. It seems much too convenient. Are you saying you think you lost your memory because...
Indeed.
I don't think. I'm positive it was the work of the mastermind. They stole my memory. But why would they want you to do... Why would they want to do that? There's only one reason I can come up with. Because of my purpose and my ability. Somehow, they would interfere with the mastermind's plan. So the mastermind just stole them from you?
However...
And it could also mean, somehow, my memories may be connected to the mystery of the school and the mastermind. Which is why I had to get them back. That's why I've been investigating things by myself this whole time. But if what you say is true, why didn't you ask the rest of us to help you?
Why is that?
If I did that, and we all worked as one, the mastermind would have noticed right away. Plus, there's always the chance that the mastermind is actually one of us. What?
Correct.
Well, don't make too big a deal of it, it's just a possibility. But since it is a possibility, we can't ignore it, right? The mastermind, one of us? If she believed that, then of course she couldn't trust anyone around her. In which case, it only makes sense that she would look into her missing memory by herself.
However...
That being said, there was a limit to what I could do by myself, which is why I asked you to help me. But why me? Because among everyone, you were least likely to be the mastermind. That was just intuition, but I see. Your intuition was right, though. There's no way an ordinary kid like me could have been the mastermind.
I understand. I should understand everything. My goal isn't to get out of here. It's to stay here.
It's just like the dream I had before, but why did that just happen?
Listen.
Are you okay? Oh, yeah, it's nothing. It is nothing, right?
Hey.
Even now, I still trust you, you know? It's just, I'm not used to relying on others.
Correct.
I know I never ask you for help or I know I never ask you for help the right way, so I understand if you're not convinced. Honestly, I was convinced. I think That's just her personality. You said you had a reason for doing all that investigating on your own. So how'd that turn out? Were you able to remember anything?
So...
I think there's still a lot that I don't remember, but at the very least, I was finally able to recall my purpose and my ability. You mentioned your ability. My ability, what everyone should have known me for? I'm the ultimate detective. C'était sûr, juste de la manière qu'elle bougeait, juste de la manière qu'elle examinait les corps pis tout ça, c'était sûr que c'était ça. C'était sûr, sûr, sûr. The ultimate detective.
Correct.
And the reason I came to Home Speak Academy, there was someone I had to find here in the school. The headmaster? You had to find someone? Who?
So...
Well, it was the headmaster of Home Speak Academy. C'était sûr, c'est ça. The headmasters? Why did you want to find a headmaster? Because it's my father. Oh, ça j'avais pas vu venir, pardon. Ça j'avais pas vu venir. Je me doutais que c'était quelqu'un de proche d'elle ou qu'elle connaissait de la manière qu'elle a réagi quand Alter Ego avait dit que c'était le headmaster, il était probablement le mastermind, mais je m'attendais pas à ce que ce soit son père. What?
In other words...
I was separated from him as a child. As it turned out, he became the headmaster of Hope Speak Academy. Kyoko's dad is Hope Speak's headmaster? Then that explains when Alter Ego told us how he thought the headmaster was involved. La réaction qu'elle a eue. I'll find a way. Huh? No matter what it takes, I will find the headmaster.
No matter what?
No matter the cost.
So,
Kyoko? What's going on? C'était sûr. My memory hadn't come back at that point, but when he said that, I felt strange. It makes perfect sense now, of course, since my whole purpose for coming here was to find him. That makes sense.
However...
But listen, Makoto, I want to make this perfectly clear, so there's no misunderstanding. I said the headmaster wasn't a mastermind, but I didn't say that to protect him. I only said what I felt based on what I'd seen when I snuck into the headmaster's room. Then, what did you see in there?
So...
The room had been ransacked. The shelves were a mess. The desk drawers dumped on the floor. The only conclusion is that someone who didn't know where anything was had been in there. You mean the mastermind, right?
It's true.
That was my assumption, yes. And to confirm my suspicion, I decided to investigate the second floor of the dorms using the key I'd found. But why there? Because I also found this in the headmaster's room. This is some kind of map.
Indeed.
It's a layout of the entirety of Hope Speak Academy. I found it in the headmaster's room, along with Mokuro's profile and that key. The map showed that the second floor was home to a number of rooms meant for faculty use. Some of the staff must have had to stay overnight from time to time. And I figured the headmaster would have some kind of private room there. I assume that if that were true, that room would likely hold more clues, so I went to check.
Correct.
And that's when I finally remembered. I remembered that my purpose was to find the owner of that room. So you went there to see if the headmaster really did have a private room there?
However...
But once I got there, I noticed that the second floor of the dorms didn't have any cameras or monitors. So what was it like? That part of the school, I mean. It's hard to describe. All I can say is, the moment I saw it, I realized. Whatever's going on in this school is more horrific than we ever imagined. What do you mean?
So...
I can't explain it. You need to see it for yourself, and I'm sure you'll get your chance soon enough. It sounds like it must be important, and really ominous. Si on repasse, ça fait quoi?
However...
Of course, well, which is why I had no idea what was going on in the rest of the building. It has to do with Mokuro Ikusaba, doesn't it?
However...
Just to be perfectly clear, I didn't kill her. And I know it wasn't you either. I know you're right. But that just means everyone but you and me had an alibi. So then who did kill her?
Anyway...
What I can say for sure is that the mastermind is directly involved. To begin with, the point of the class trial of Mukuro Ikusaba was to get me killed. Get you killed?
Indeed.
I stole that key and disappeared, and in retaliation, they wanted to draw me out and eliminate me.
Correct.
That was the point of the class trial. It was. The mastermind knew they couldn't interfere directly. You mean because of the school regulations?
That's right.
Exactly. With minimal restraint, you are free to explore Old Peak Academy at your discretion.
In other words,
The mastermind is adamant about following the rules, and with that rule in place, they couldn't step in. Since they couldn't kill me themselves, they tried to use the class trial to do it. The mastermind couldn't step in because of the rules. That makes it sound like the mastermind themselves is somehow bound by the school regulation.
hey,
There's one other thing I'd like to point out about the murder of Mukuro Kusaba, was that there was a point where Mukuro may not have become the victim. It could have been you, Makoto. Moi, quand je me suis réveillé dans ma chambre, I could have become the victim?
indeed.
You know what I'm talking about, right? You mean during the night? I can hear them, you know? The footstep of the god of death. What? I can hear the god of death as he moves. That ability naturally draws me into cases just like this,
Anyway.
which is exactly what happened with you. I was in the dorms, and I had a sudden sense of dread. I looked down the stairwell, and I saw a white shadow cross the corridor. I gave chase right away. As I followed it, I saw the shadow go into your room.
Correct.
I ran to your room, and I saw what was happening. I intervened immediately, of course.
However,
That wasn't the end of things, of course. I stopped them, but that led to whoever the masked assailant was. They ended up dead,
correct.
and their murder was disguised, and the dojo key wound up in my room. It all has to be the work of the mastermind in an attempt to use the class royale to eliminate me. So all this would mean that whoever killed Mokuro is also the mastermind, right?
Indeed.
I don't have conclusive evidence, but that's what I think. But that's really bad if true. It means the mastermind can kill whoever they want if they feel like it. Wait, but doesn't that create another contradiction? The mastermind wanted to use the class royale to try and kill you because they couldn't interfere, right?
Correct.
You're right. That is a contradiction. And it's not just Mokuro. They needed the class royale to kill me, but seemed ready to kill you in your room. Everything they did is a contradiction. So what does it all mean?
In other words,
It means that the mastermind is the one who's been cornered.
Makoto.
Just a little more, and I should be able to figure out the mastermind identity. The identity of the other ultimate despair. The other ultimate despair? There's no doubt that Mukuro was the ultimate despair, and that she's dead. But I don't think the ultimate despair is just one person. It's not?
Indeed.
If you think about it, the ultimate despair seems to implicate whoever caused that event. You're talking about
That's right.
what happened a year ago. The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. The tragedy. Whoever's responsible for that, they're the ultimate despair.
It would seem.
That despicable group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. Then there are...
Indeed.
Make no mistake, they're the root of all the evil that has forced us to go through this. That is the ultimate despair. And that is our real enemy. On a finish chapitre 5, guys! Ça va bien, ça va bien. Il n'y a pas eu de meurtre finalement. Ben, pas de meurtre. Il y a eu le meurtre de Mokuro, mais il n'y a pas eu d'autres personnes qui sont mortes à la fin. Non. Pas du tout piquant. On vient tout juste de finir le chapitre 5. Il n'en reste pas gros avant la fin de ce jeu. La confrontation finale, le climax de ce jeu s'en vient bientôt. On le sent. Kyoko est prête à affronter tout ce qui bouge pour réussir à mettre la main sur le mastermind. Mais entre-temps, si vous voulez voir l'action en live sur Twitch, le lien va être juste ici. Sinon, vous pouvez toujours le retrouver dans la description de cette vidéo. Je vous souhaite une excellente fin de journée ou une excellente fin de soirée, tout dépendant de ce qui s'applique à vous. Et je vous dis à la prochaine. Prenez soin de vous, guys. Bye bye.